Squirrel Girl. This week I'm going to talk about Squirrel Girl. As you can see, I'm wearing my handy dandy squirrel ears, and if I take my glasses off, I think I look a little bit like her. For those of you not in the know, so Squirrel Girl is created, well, reintroduced to the current day rather, by Ryan North and Erica Henderson. I have here the first volume, the most recent volume, and the special edition volume. I also have a signed poster hanging on my wall by Ryan North and Erica Henderson. I am a huge fan of this graphic novel series, obviously. I actually dressed as Squirrel Girl last year at Comic-Con. Show a picture here. So I just want to talk about this so much. I found out recently that this graphic novel series was nominated for an Eisner Award and it actually won. Congratulations. And sometimes I forget that graphic novels are for YA. I know, I just reviewed 2 graphic novel series not too long ago, but I still forget this thing all the time. That being said, so usually the books are like 30 pages, like standard graphic novel length. The first one came out September 1st, 2015. The most recent publication was October 3rd, 2017. So recently, less than a month ago. I will read to you the plot as usual from Goodreads. Wolverine, Deadpool, Doctor Doom, Thanos. There's one hero that's beaten them all. And now she's got her own ongoing series. Not that she's bragging. That's right, you asked for it, you got it. It's Squirrel Girl. She's also starting college this semester. It's the start of a brand new series of adventures starring the nuttiest and most upbeat superhero in the world. Some people ask me why I love Squirrel Girl so much. Honestly, it's exactly what it says in the description. She's upbeat, she's funny, she never lets anything get her down, and she's probably the quirkiest superhero that Marvel has going right now, next to Gwenpool, but she's more new than Squirrel Girl is. Squirrel Girl came out a really long time ago, and at first she was just kind of like a one-off character. She was Iron Man's sidekick at some point, I believe, and she would like pull people off screen, and beat them up, and then you would see them all beaten up and whatever, and she was unbeatable. It was really adorable, and they actually played with that in this version. It's hardcover, where she pulls some she literally fights every single person in the Marvel Universe. Well, it's more complicated than that, but she fights every single person in the Marvel Universe off screen, and then you see it later on, and this was actually really funny. I enjoyed this one a lot. For review, so, I don't know if you noticed, I may be a little obsessed with Squirrel Girl. I mean, I look exactly like her. I cosplayed her at Comic-Con, like I said earlier, and I met Ryan North and Erica Henderson, who are dolls. I love the 2 of them to death. I love the quirkiness of this series so much. Yeah, I couldn't help myself, honestly. And, you know, one of the first issues in the first book, she fights off against Galactus. I love telling this story. She fights against Galactus, and instead of letting Galactus beat her, because he's Galactus, Eater of Worlds, she convinces him not to eat Earth by telling him that there's another planet close by that's made entirely of nuts. It's completely uninhabited. Uninhabited. And you know what, Galactus, go eat that world. You're not gonna hurt anybody. And she beats him that way. She uses her smarts to get the better of him. It's fantastic. She's unbeatable in every way, mostly because of her problem-solving skills, like I just said. She works around any obstacle that comes in her way. You know, and she's so spunky. Super happy and proud of this series. Has won the Eisner Award, as I said earlier. It won for Best Publication for Teens, so it belongs on this show. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how else to talk about this without sounding too obsessed and gushy and squirrel girly. So again, we have tropes for this. Graphic novels are kind of hard to put some tropes to, I guess. But this one follows a lot of them. Again, this is a list that I've curated myself using the internet and also some of my librarian friends. So the description for everything is going to be down below. And here we go. So we have The Chosen One, No School, Strong/Smart Female Protag, and Unusual Names. For this series, of course I'm gonna rate it a 10 out of 10. Of course, I will read it forever and ever and ever again. I've actually reread it twice. When the first, 4 issues were out, I reread it. When the awesome hardcover of She Beats Up the Marvel Universe, I think I've read this 3 times. I can't help myself with this series. It's enjoyable every time. Every time you pick it up, it's a wonderful read. So it gets a 10 out of 10, and I will totally read it forever and ever and ever and ever. And I will keep dressing up like Squirrel Girl until everyone else appreciates her as much as I do. For my favorite part, this is actually hard because I love all of it. I honestly couldn't pick a favorite part in this, so I'm just gonna say something kind of generic. I have to flip to a page that's not gonna be spoilery. But throughout the series, every single issue, every single volume throughout the whole series has these little like author's notes at the bottom of the panels. I haven't been reading graphic novels long enough to know if that's a recent thing or if that's been happening for a long time, but it's consistent throughout this whole series that somebody's always speaking at the bottom. And sometimes it's Squirrel Girl, sometimes it's not. I think most of the time it's Squirrel Girl. So like, whatever's happening on the page, there's a commentary about it at the bottom. Hold on. From the first volume, let's see. Because I don't want to spoil anything, especially from that wonderful volume. Okay, here you go. So she is singing her theme song here on this page and kicking butt. She likes to eat nuts and kick butts. At the bottom of it, it says, "You now have the Spider-Man theme song stuck in your head for the rest of this issue. You're welcome." Because I guess her theme song goes to that tune. Squirrel girl, she's a human and also squirrel. Can she climb up a tree? Yes, she can, easily. That's why her name's Squirrel Girl. So there you go. Yeah, so that is my favorite part of the whole series, I think. Aside from the fact that, I have a clone in graphic novel form. I think this is the shortest video I've ever done, to be honest, because we're already at the age range. So for this series, like I said, it won the Eisner Award for Teens. There's really nothing stopping a 12-year-old from reading it, so I said 12 and up. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I mean, personally, I'm in my late 20s, and I read this series like it's nobody's business. So I think anyone can read this series. I don't think there's anything complicated to understand in it, especially if you just like to see some crazy villains get the nuts kicked out of them. And by crazy, I mean like unheard of. I mean, anyone who's a comic book nerd knows who Galactus is, especially with the way Marvel Universe, Cinematic Universe is going these days, because we're going to meet him soon. It's going to happen. But like, we run into like people I've never seen. And I mean, I haven't been reading graphic novels that long, but I've been reading them long enough to know a lot of the characters, and I read a couple of different series and whatever. But, like, I've never heard... Who is this person? I've never heard of Whiplash. I've never heard... There's a hunter guy who comes after her, too, whose name I'm totally blanking on right now, but I've never heard of him. You know, I've never heard of a lot of these people, and I think that's one of my favorite things about this series is, you know, not that it's standalone, but it feels like it is sometimes. Oh yeah, Craven the Hunter is the guy. I couldn't remember whose name it is. You know, she encounters so many different people, and she fights so many different villains. You're kind of getting introduced to the whole Marvel Universe through every issue. And I think I really like that about her. You know, this is gonna sound so corny, but she doesn't discriminate against her villains. She will kick all of their butts equally. I also really like, and I probably should have said this in the review, she's really smart as a superhero and also as a person. As Doreen Green, which is her name, her secret identity, she's a computer science major at a school in Manhattan. And, you know, that's probably the only way that we differ aside from the fact that I don't have a tail. Don't have a squirrel tail. You can't, there's no squirrel tail behind me, right? So, you know, she's into computer science and coding. I'm into art and making videos that nobody watches. So, anyway, that's all I have to say about Squirrel Girl, my wonderful, amazing comic book doppelganger. Also more good Squirrel Girl news is that she's going to be in a TV show, I think it's coming out next year, called The New Warriors, I'm pretty sure. She's a main character, but I would prefer it if we just had a Squirrel Girl movie. It would be so awesome. I know, we need to have like a Black Widow movie and a couple of other superhero MCU characters who are female come first and whatever, but a Squirrel Girl movie would be thebomb.com. Anyway, so again, that's all I have to say about this. If you liked this video and my costume, t-shirt, earring, ear combination, make sure you subscribe for more because this is going to keep going on ad infinitum. I said that wrong. Forever. And you can watch me screw up on camera every other Thursday. So again, read this book, read all of it, pick it up, it's so good. Support Ryan North and Erica Henderson in their amazing attempt to get this woman well known. And I guess I'll see you next time, YA nerds. Peace.